Hello my scrappy friends, and a big welcome to my channel today. Today's share is for Cut to You, and it is for International Scrapbooking Day. So as you noticed, there is the cut file that I'm using, which is, this one always gets me confused because there's so many S words. Let me double check. It is sleep, snack, snap, repeat. So what I've got here is a 5x7 flat canvas. I showed you before that I applied some clear gesso to some paper clay butterflies that I had created. I've already applied some clear gesso to my canvas here, and I'm coming in with this Prima stamp. I love it. I found it on Amazon. If anyone is interested, if anyone wants to know the exact details, I can get you the item number and stuff from it. What actually inspired this project was this stencil. Now, I got this stencil in a little kit from my local scrapbooking store that was sadly closing, but it came with the stencil and all of the flowers that I'm going to be using. Yes, you heard correctly, flowers. And I thought that they worked beautifully together, so I was inspired to create something with them. I've applied Prima, what is that stuff called? I can't remember. Paper paste, I think, to that, and I've let that dry. It doesn't take very long to dry, which is awesome. I chose that because I really like the texture that it creates, and it dries quickly and takes colour really, really well. I'm using some Lindy's Stamp Gang colours to apply colour to my background here, and I am starting with some of the little magical powders. I've got Fuzzy Navel Peach and a bit of Bubbly, so I'm just adding those on. I'm kind of not really sure exactly what I want to do here, so I'm just adding colour and having a bit of a play. I've also got a bit of bubbly in the Starburst spray, so I'm using that too. And I'm kind of, I'm matching the colours to the florals that I've got to work with. You can see this is one of the awesome things about magicals, is you get so many different colours from one colour, but I didn't really want those pink tones, so I am blending those out with the water. And all I'm doing is adding some powder, adding some water, and getting, I ended up deciding I was just going to get a fairly, like a colour wash across the whole canvas here, and then I'm going to come back in a little while. So I saw a sneak peek of my cut file there, and what I've done, you can see exactly what I'm doing here with the mixed media, so I'll let that play. What I've done with my cut file is I have removed all of the inner lines from it and cut it 4 times on smooth white cardstock, and then I have cut it a 5th time on pattern paper. And the papers that I'm using today are from Be Arty by Colour Blast by Be Arty. It's one of Fiona Partridge's ranges called Forever My Always, and so yeah, I've cut that with the Heartbeat pattern paper, so I've cut that title, and then I went in and I'd already copied the cut file, so I cut the actual cut file with like the outline on textured white cardstock, and I've just used spray adhesive to layer all those pieces together. It gives me a really thick, almost like chipboard title piece, which I really love how that turned out. And yeah, so that's what I'm using for my title. You can see here I'm just adding colour. I wanted to bring in some blue because there's some dark blue in the florals as well, and I'm just adding that rather sparingly, and it kind of does take over, but then I come back in with those orangey colours. And the good thing about the Lindy's, I don't know if you know, is once it's dry, it's permanent. So once it's dry, once this blue is dry and I add orange to it, it's not going to change colour and go muddy. So yeah, you can see I'm just adding little bits of colour here and there. There were a couple of places that I thought I recorded and it hasn't recorded, so I don't really even know what happened. But I have kept in most of the process for you. So yeah, I'm just adding a bit more of that orange, so you could see that blue was really starting to take over. And then this orange was way too orange, so I'm just adding more. I think I add a bit more water. You could see that I went around all 4 edges with the nozzle from my brush. And I'm just dabbing up the excess water that I've got there. They are some of the florals. I just wanted to add a bit of sparkle with the Lindy's. Now, I didn't really need to add gesso to these. You can see that the colour is basically just rolling straight off it almost. So note to self, do not add gesso. But that's okay. So I do add a couple of layers. You can see that my paper there is absolutely soaking wet. That's just regular copy paper. So I'll just work with it the best I can. And then I decided to go in with the darker colour here, thinking I could just get it into the little grooves and stuff. And then that doesn't really work either, so I just add the colour to the whole lot. I think this is the fuzzy navel peach that I'm working with now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so bold. So then I spritz it with water and all the colour runs off. But I'm getting better coverage with each layer, which is one of the fun things about mixed media, right? Layers. So I'm going to transfer those over to some paper towel and go in with some more colour. I'm just checking how they compare to my flowers. So I go back in with the fuzzy navel peach, and I'm pretty sure I just leave these as is and let them dry from here. No, I squirt them as well, so that's a bit of bubbly. Got my flowers here I'm going to pop on to dry. And then I'm going to work with so I've pulled out 3 wood veneer arrows from my stash. I wanted to add a bit more dark to my cut file, so I'm using, this is the Tweedledee denim, and you can see it's really dark, and I lose all the detail in those arrows, but you can see once I dab that colour up, I get just a, especially in the etched area, really dark blue. And so this is what my canvas is starting to look like. I'm really, really loving it. I've added, as you can see, some blue to the middle there, and then I've gone back in and also added some splatters. You can see all that beautiful sparkle from those magicals. And so now I'm going to start assembling. Yes. So what I did, I added some glue just to the middle 2 rows of words. Now, I don't know what I did. You can see I've got my T-square ruler here. I lined it up and it's not straight. I don't even know what I did. But that is okay. It is not the end of the world. It is mine. And I don't ever expect actually straight and perfect. So it's all good. It could very well have happened here, like where so I didn't stick down the top and the bottom words because I knew I had some of these fussy cut florals from that Be Arty collection that I wanted to stick underneath. So I've stuck the florals down and then I've gone back in, stuck the words down, and you can see I'm just adding a bit of dimension behind the florals. And I do not show you this whole process, but you can see I'm just going to start sticking these flowers down. For now I'm using my Scotch Tacky glue. I do swap over and use some mixed media glue, but not just yet. So this is where I'm up to. I've got all my flowers and the paper layers stuck down, and I have got my 2 butterflies and a bee here. I'm like, oh my gosh, they are way too bold. So I've got some white gesso, and this is actually a cheapy makeup brush from Kmart. So white gesso, and then the colours matched way better. I'm going to tuck those into my layers. So I've got 1, 2, and 3. And I'm using the mixed media glue to stick these guys down. Arrows. And I'm just adding them into the layers. I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. I really love it. Like I mentioned, I thought I hit record a few times and it hasn't happened. So I can't even explain what happened. So I did decide to go over the whole lot with some white gesso here. Realised that things weren't sticking properly. So here's a bit of a close-up of where I'm up to. And I've got those little diamonds from Prima and then my art stones from Prima as well. You can see that I have placed the little diamonds, and for now they are not glued. I'm only going to show you a small section of me sticking this down because it is the same process over and over again and you don't need to watch it 1200 times. So I am using some Liquitex matte medium with a paintbrush, and you can see I'm just painting on the matte medium and attempting to also stick down these art stones. These are the regular size art stones. As the more I did, the better I got at it. Yeah. So practice, play, have fun. That is my biggest words of advice if you want to do something like this. Just play. Gesso is your friend, and just enjoy the process. These are the tiny little art stones, and I'm just using my fingers to like sprinkle those over where the matte medium is. And then once I have got the art stones where I want them, I'm going back in again with the matte medium and sticking down those diamonds. Here is a close-up of where I'm up to. So this is the part where I thought I had recorded but I haven't. I've added two different lots of glitter. One is Stampin' Up, what's it called? Champagne glass glitter. And then the other is Dazzling Diamonds, also by Stampin' Up. And then this very last step that I'm going to do here is Aged Brass Wax by Prima. And I'm just rubbing that on all over with my fingers. And I am so happy with how this turned out. Like, seriously, I am so happy with how this turned out. I love it. I am going to have to find somewhere in my craft room for it. I love the colour. I love the sentiment. Yeah, so make sure you head over to the Cut to You HQ Facebook group. Make sure you are signed up to our newsletter. There is lots of fun things happening and you don't want to miss out. If you have any questions, please make sure you drop them below. I will leave links to everything in the description box below. Here are some close-ups. Oh, I just wanted to show you here that if you do get stuff onto those diamond things, a wet wipe, and you just kind of rub it off. It's awesome. You can see all the sparkling glitter there. So yeah, I'll make sure I leave everything in the description box below. I hope you've enjoyed. I'm super happy with how this project turned out. Hope you've enjoyed. Again, you know, one can't say that too many times. Thank you so much for stopping by. Happy International Scrapbooking Day, and I will see you again with another share very soon. Have a fantastic scrappy day.